Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be drawing a cat, just a simple portrait. I'm just going to rough out the shape of his head. I'll add the details in. Actually, I've just got to get my pen. I had to get the right pen would be good. All right, there we go. So I'm going to start. Whoops, that's way too big. Excuse my little dog. Pippi. Is she just upset that I'm drawing a cat? Goodness gracious. Just bear with me a second. I'm just going to put the dog out. Come on, puppies. Let's come. Those two can stay out there. Right there, you're with me. Okay, got one dog up here and the other ones are down in the kitchen. You can't jump on my lap, Bear, even though I know you're happy. Now he's checking me because I got him a treat to get him into the kitchen. Now, where are we? So I'm up to the ear. So I was going to rough in the shape. Let's get it all sort of roughed. The eyes, the circles. Like that. Put the nose about there. All right, so that's roughly the shape. I'm quite happy with that, except for that really thick bit right there. Make my eraser bigger, like that. I mean, I'll get rid of the drawing, the under drawing at the end anyway. So that's sort of pretty much the shape. I will draw in, whoops, what's going on here? I've got the eraser, that's why. I will draw in the iris, the pupil rather. Sort of goes to the top of the eye there in a diamond-ish shape, like that. And cats are sort of, they're quite, of all the animals, I find cats the hardest to draw because they're flat. Like they sit, their perspective is quite flat. It's really unusual. It's really hard to describe, but yeah, I struggle sometimes to get the fur texture and everything right. So you saw I just really roughed in the shape first. And they're basically just a circle. Like they are basically just a circle. Hello, Shimo. How are you? Welcome back. Welcome back. So they're basically just fur. They're just flat fur. As long as, but yeah, they're a circle. This one's got, so this is a tabby. And he's got a white chest. So I'll draw his little white chest coming down there. Now he's got his nose comes down about that far, and it sort of comes in line with this pupil at the bottom there. Now I'll colour in the tabby bits after. So that's just the base. That's the base. I'll draw in some stripes just to help me. So I know where his tabby stripes are. Oh, now the dog's crying to get back in. I've got 3 dogs in the house at the second. I think I need to make his face a little bit rounder, maybe a little bit rounder. Or I can just do that with, hang on, I'm just going to erase this bit here. Make my eraser a bit bigger. That line there. Go back to my dip pen. Oops, dip pen. There we go. Turn off the eraser. He's got very dark rings around his eyes. You can just see the bottom of his lip sort of there. All right, so pretty much that's the outline. Very basic shape. They're just a circle with triangles for ears. And then you just place your eyes, and how I place the eyes, I'm so used to doing it by eye, sort of the eyes, the iris and the pupil is in line with the inside, like that inside of the ears. So you just draw a line down from there in your mind, and that's where the pupil will be. And the top of his eye is in line on this side with the bottom of his ear. The other side's a little bit different. Not really. I should actually, see, I've just seen, just because of the tilt of his head, it's a little bit higher. I could make it a little bit higher. So there's definite sort of perspectives you can use. The shape of his nose, like these round bits, line with the edge of his pupils. So I use all these points, which I'll erase, in my mind's eye when I'm drawing. I put all these points down on the paper in my mind to be able to see perspective of where things are and where things need to be. So I'll just erase those little lines. Okay, so I'm going to start with the background. I think I'm going to go with a beigey, sort of a browny grey background. Now my dogs want to go out and come in and do all the things. Goodness gracious, great balls of cotton fluff. They're bossy today. What colour background am I going to go? I might go a green background, because what cat doesn't look good with a green background? I will use a soft brush, make it huge. Woo, maybe not that huge. Maybe not quite that huge. Make it a bit smaller than that. And then I'll just fill in the background. So I'm going to make it smaller so I can see it better. Make it a little bit bigger than that maybe. Just go around the outside. I don't have to do this. There are easier ways of doing this for digital, but I tend to treat digital very traditionally. I do it as if I would be doing a standard drawing. I don't lose my drawing technique that way. I can jump around from traditional to digital and not have a real issue. So, not that I have been. I seem to be sticking to digital much more. I enjoy the cleanliness of it, the convenience of it, because I've got my iPad. I can sit in my lounge room and draw and not bother anyone and not be carrying stuff all over the house. So I find digital is quite convenient. Okay, so I'm just going to fill this all in. It's quite quickly and roughly, as if I would. I can blend it. Excuse my little dog. I better go let Daisy in. She's being a little sooky lala. Pippi has to stay out though, because Pippi barks at me when I stream. She doesn't like me talking to anyone. So just bear with me. So if this was watercolour, I would have wet the paper and just done a wash all over it. Now I'm going to blend. Just blend all of that together. Make my blender bigger. And do that. And just soften it all in together. Give it a soft background. I'll do this before I let the doggo in. Sounds like it's raining outside here. I did predict rain today. All right, continue on around. All right, down and around. Soften all that in, and so that creates quite a nice hazy background. Could only stay around for a little bit today, but I'm glad to see you still going. Have fun. Thank you, Shima. You have a lovely day, mate, or a lovely night. It's probably middle of the night there. Have a lovely night, and I will see you next time, doll. And thank you for popping in. It's always lovely. I'm just going to go let the little dog in now. I'll be right back. You there, Daisy Doo? Come on, Daisy Doo. Goodness gracious, that's okay. Oh, and now she's back there again. Goodness gracious, the dog is my boss. So now I'm going to make that larger again and move it down here like that. And we're going to get onto the colours. So I'm looking at the cat and she's got a very fawny, reddy, light reddy brown back into the browns. Quite a pinky hue. Not a very natural sort of a brown, is it? So I need it to be a naturally sort of a brown like that, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to go back to I'm going to go to a soft brush. So I'm just, first of all, I just block in. I'm just going to drop the, no, I don't want to drop the opacity. I don't like that colour. That's too strong. That's way too strong. So I'm going to make it a bit pale, more pale, like a greyish brown. Okay, that's a bit better. And I'm just going to block in pretty much everywhere that I see this colour, which is pretty much the whole cat. I might as well just do that, just block in the cat, except for the chest. Just going to blend out a little bit, see how it looks. There we go, that's all right. So I do this exactly how I would do a traditional painting. I just block it in first, and then I add the detail over the top. So I do all the base colour. And then I can add lighter back around there. The end. I'm just going to let that little dog in. Hang on. Now she's looking. The other one's looking. Come on, go, baby, do. Come on, Jill. Come on, Jill. Come quick. Okay. We've got Daisy, Jill. So now I've got two dogs in here and one in the lounge. Because they're bossy britches. Hey, Stinky. Okay. No, Daisy, don't you be barking. So now I'm going to fill in. I can fill in the whole cat pretty much. To do that, what I can do, one of the things I can do is I could bucket it, which is I tip on the bucket icon and it will just drop the paint anywhere that I've got lines. It'll fill in the lines. But I quite like the softness of doing it this way. So more traditionally technique. So I'll just go around the eyes like that. Makes it a bit easier. And I'll just fill everything in. Just fill it all in. Just squiggle around. Very rough to start with, but you just get your base layer in. And then I'll soften it all. He's much paler on his nose and around his chin, but I'll worry about that in a minute. I can still block it in, leave a little gap so that I've got my dogs are having a very bossy day. I can just hear now. I can hear Bear wants to go out. I'm like, my goodness. My dogs rule the roost, I think. Okay. Fill all this in. I'll leave a little gap around the nose on this side as well. Just, you'll see what I do once I start to blend all this. It'll still give me a little bit of a guiding line. And it's literally so rough to begin with. So now I'm going to blend that. So, and that'll just soften all those pencil lines. And this time, because now that I'm blending it in the direction that the fur will go when I actually put the fur marks on. You can see how that highlighted bit that I've left a gap stays a little bit highlighted, so it's still, I can still see where the line, the drawing line, the underdrawing is. All right, like that. Soften that out, like that. Okay. He looks very bizarre. I'm going to do the bottom of his fur now, so I'll go back to my normal brush. And I've got to do his shoulders. Come down here, come down there, and I'll do exactly the same thing. I'll just fill it in like that, block it in, and blend it. There you go, grab my little blending tool, which is just a cotton bud, which I would use in real art. I would use a cotton bud to blend in pencil, in pastels and things like that. I used to do a lot of pastel drawing. I used to love that for wildlife art. Digital was, I sort of use the same tools for digital. I just found them in a digital format, so which really works well. So now I'm going to go back. Now I can start to add a little bit of fur detail. I'm going to go to my fur brushes because I've got some lovely fur brushes. Essentials Hair and Fur. And I am going to get something that looks short and cat-like. And I'm going to now start to add a little bit of texture, a little bit of colour. Make that brush small. Why is it? Oh, there we go. Make it a bit bigger than that maybe. And I can start to add fur detail around the edges of Mr. Cat. Just up on this top left ear. He's got lots of white fur in his ear. His ear comes down this sort of shape, again remembering the direction the fur goes. It's quite red in the ear actually, quite a warm colour on the inside. Make that a fraction bigger. Come down the outside of this ear. All right. I don't like how I've got to get my other brush, go back to my normal brushes, my favourites. And I'm just going to go around the edge because I'm not real happy with how that's got an edge around the edge of the green. I'm just going to soften that line there a bit. That's a bit better. It's a little bit less hard edged. Okay. I might do the iris because for fun, because why not? Go back up here, grab my texture pen pretty much, make it small and just fill in the iris, or the pupil rather. Fill in the pupil. Like that. It's fun to do the eyes because it sort of gives you the soul of the animal. So just draw his pupils in, and I'm going to go like a limey green, very pale limey green for the pupil, not the pupil, the, what do you call it, the eyeball. It has a name. I've gone completely blank. And her pupil is right smack in the middle of her eye at the top. Down and around here. Fill in the other eyeball. Sclera. I think it's called the sclera. I remembered. There you go. Fill in the sclera. Okay, having a quick look. Then there's a multitude of colours in amongst all that. So I'm going to do the darker around the outside first. So I'm just going to do around the edge of the sclera. She's got very dark around the edge. Comes down under, sort of meets there, then comes down into her tear duct. Down onto her nose a little bit, like that. And then same on this side. Little tear duct. Eyes are fun because there's so many reflections. It's like drawing glass. It's just all reflections. It's very cool. Lots of fun to draw. I just break it down into simple shapes. And I look at one colour at a time. I don't overwhelm myself. I'm actually going to do around the edge of the nose as well. Because around the edge of her nose is very dark. I'll just mark that in, because why not? I jump around a little bit, as you can tell. I have a very... I sort of have a methodical style to drawing, but I do jump around. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my green that I've got here. I'm going to press my little dropper, pick up that colour, because that's the colour I want to go back to, and I'm going to add a little bit darker in there. I'm going to go to my dip pen. I'm going to drop the opacity a little bit, and I'm going to add that, oops, get my brush back, and I'm going to add that, oops, that didn't work, did it? Go a bit lighter, and add that lighter colour into the bottom of the eye, both sides. I'm going to go a bit darker up the top, because you can see the top's got some modelly shadows. They're not, because the eye is not all one colour. It's a lot of different colours, which is good fun. Dark around that side. Also remember to do the shapes of the eyes. Might zoom in. No, I won't zoom in on any. Well, do I zoom in? Yeah, I'll zoom in a little bit more for you. There we go, so you can see it a bit better. Come up around the top here. Having a look at the eyes. It sort of comes right around the pupil. That, and I'll blend that a little bit. So I'm just going to soften that. Get my little blending tool, which is just basically a cotton bud tool, and just soften those so that they're not hard lines. Just swirl them, just soften them like that. If I've got too much anywhere, I can always change it. Now there's a little bit more yellowy green, so I'm going to go back into the yellows. And I'm going to add a bit of yellow. I'm going to go back to my pen. Add a bit of yellow around this bottom edge, left eye. And a little bit around the top. I could go over the other bits that I've done. It's not going to hurt it. Same on this other eye, the right eye, on my right. Blend that in. Let's see where he's got a little bit of yellow up there as well. And I'll blend that in. So I get my little blending tool. I really enjoy painting eyes. It's good fun. It is good fun. Tidy up around some of the edges of the dark. There we go. Soften that yellow, get rid of the hard lines, like that. Okay, now I'm going to add the white for the reflections. So I'm going to go to my hard brush again. She's got a few little stripes on her eyes, like a few little, you can see like the reflection of the camera or the window that she's sitting looking at. Like that. I'm going to blend that to soften it a little. Literally just touching it with my pen to just soften it like that. Okay, I might add a little bit more of that to the bottom of the eye as well. There. All right. Make that more of a triangle though up there. And then I'm going to go back into the black of the eye. I'm going to go right into the blues, get a really dark black. and tidy up this iris. Take that up a bit higher. The pupil, I mean. I keep calling it an iris, but it's a pupil. It does go to the top of the eye pretty much. Like that. Okay. I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to go. I do want to add some darker greens, actually. I have to say I do want to add some darker greens. I'm going to make that pen really small. Just use the tip. Oops, no, not that one. Not that big. I need it to go smaller than that. Make my pen really small. And I'm just going to draw in, oops, a little bit bigger. The little, as you can see, that she's got little dots. Around her eyes, around her sclera. So I'm just going to draw those little dots in. It's like hazel, you know, like the little hazel dots. So I'll draw those little hazel dots over the top. Keep the eyes interesting like that. Okay, now I'm going to start with fur again. So I'm going to go back to my fur brush, go back to Essential Furs. I'm going to go down here to a nice soft sort of fur. Maybe I will go with this one. Let's have a look. Ooh, no way. Oh, it's too big though. I'll drop it down. And it's green. Which doesn't help matters much, does it? Why aren't you erasing? Uh-oh. Control Z. Why is it not erasing? Uh-oh. Oh, because I haven't got... Okay. I've got to go back here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to make that small. And then I'm going to start... Why have I've still got green? I'm a nong. Let's just get rid of that. And I'll go back to the browns. Oh my goodness. Go into the reds. And there's browny grey. Browny grey. About that, I reckon. So I'm now going to just draw in the fur. Start to draw in fur. Starting with the stripes first. Just remembering to go the direction of the fur. These are the darker bits. It's got quite light in his ear, but I'm just going to block in first some of these darker bits because that just gives me a guide. Bit of a guide to go by. Goes right to the edge of his face, like that. Soften up all around here. It's actually quite light around there. I've got to be a bit careful. I can go over it anyway, it's not a problem. Now again, fur goes that way. Let's brush the direction of his fur. He's got a stripe that comes down here. He's got so many different colours. It's all about perspective and getting the directions of the fur correct. He's got dark in the bottom corner of that ear. He's got a stripe coming down there. He's quite dark up in here. So I'll just do all this in dark. Go up onto the green background a little bit. Come down to his nose there. He's got a thick line there. I'll just do the outline of it. I'm not, you know, so I'm doing it jaggedy line. I'm not doing it as a hard drawing line. I'm keeping it the fur texture. I'll just take that down. And I do all my drawings the same pretty much. I use three layers. One's a background, one's a drawing, one's a background, and one's the painting. Hello, Jeremy. I'm great, mate. How are you? I am very good. Always happy when I'm drawing, mate. Always happy when I'm drawing. I've got to the dentist this afternoon. So it's like, this is distracting me before I go to the dentist. This is my distraction. Because I've got to get 2 fillings replaced. But they're 30 years old and they need replacing. I'm doing good, just about to pass out, but I thought I'd hop in. Thank you, mate. It's always lovely to see you. Much appreciated. Yeah, it's the middle of the night where everyone else is. All my mates are on the other side of the planet in the middle of the night. But I appreciate it, doll. I appreciate you popping in. Because it's, what is it? It's lunchtime here now. 3 a.m. Oh, wow. You're up early, late, early. All of the things. I can't stay up that late. My son-in-law does that and my daughter does it, but I can't do it. I cannot stay up that late. I'm old. Old and crunchy. That's me. Okay. So you can see I'm starting to build up. Again, remembering, go the direction of the fur. Starting to build up shape because he looks really quite flat to begin with. Oops. My fur changed direction there. I've got to be careful. My fur all goes the same directions. That stripe comes down from the eye. There's one that comes sort of up here. Goes to the back. Oops. This one comes... They're not going to be exactly the same. They're going to be close, but not exactly the same as the reference, which I've got sitting here in front of me. I could pop it up on the big screen, but I've got my chat up there. I've got my iPad, my old iPad down next to me. I'm just going to drop some more dark because his model pattern, his tabby pattern, isn't symmetric on both sides. It's a little bit asymmetrical. It does come down here. It's very strong on his back. Got to come down his face a little bit now. So it comes down to his nose. And then onto his side of his nose like that. Then it comes down here. Just a softer line. It's got a little bit darker under here. Okay. I'm going to add the pink into his nose. I'm going to go back to my regular brushes, my favourites. I'm going to go up to that brush and I'm just going to fill in his nose, make it a bit bigger. That sort of skin tone, pinky or browny tone that I used for his ear fur. It's actually a really nice nose tone for the cat's nose. So I'll fill all that in. I'll blend it so it's soft. So he's starting to come together, and when I blend the edges back in to the pink on the nose, not the other way around. I blend the dark back into the pink to soften it. Like that, and I can redefine hard edges if I want to. Okay. Now he's also got a little bit of a dark line. I can get the eyedropper and pick up the dark colour to match. And then I've got a drawer. He's got little, I can add some of the harder lines back in. He's got darker up here on the edge of his nose. This is where you start to look for little changes, little shapes, stronger darks, softer lines. He's got dark coming down here. Okay. Okay, go back into the greys because I'm going to do that tabby colour down here. I've got to get that fur brush back. Favourites, go back to Essential Hair and Fur, and it was that one, I think. Oops, maybe not that one. Control Z. Make it smaller. No, it wasn't that one. Which one was it? Maybe it was that one. Was it that one? No, I like that one. We'll stick with that one. We'll stick with that one. Okay. It's actually quite a thick line of fur there, so I'll fill that in a bit thicker. Comes right up onto his back. He's got fur here. Comes up, there's a patch there. Again, remembering to go the direction of the fur. Got to make that a fraction smaller. Whoops. And move him up. I've got to get to the bottom of him. Like that. Make my brush a bit bigger. The tabby pattern on his back is quite large, and I will go over it a few times. These stripes with different layers, different colours. I'll get darker as I go up his back a bit more. Again, direction of the fur, always thinking about it. So I just use that sort of purpley grey, or that the lighter grey for his base fur, just as the background, just as a block to fill it in. Just made it easier to fill in. Gives me a base to work with, like when you'd buy a tinted paper. Gives you a tint on the background to work with. All right. Now, go into his ears a little bit. I'm going to go around the outside edge. I'm going to get my harder brush back. Actually, no, I can stick with this one. I'll stick with this brush because they're not soft lines. Not hard lines, I mean, around the outside. I can leave it a bit furry looking, like that. Then come down around this outside of the ears, like that. Under his chin a little bit, it's darker. Under here. I'm going to take this grey around the edge of his nose, the roundy bits of his nose as well, like that. I might make that a bit larger, just a little bit larger. Whoops. I always go the wrong direction first because that's how I roll. All right, now he's got like this reddy colour. Take that round the outside of his eye. So I need to make that a bit smaller. And then move it a fraction. Ah, that's not it. That button. I want to make it bigger, but then move it. There we go. That's a bit better. He's got this red around the edge of his eyes. Comes down towards his nose, like that. Same on the other eye. Again, following the direction of the fur. Down to here. He's also got, I'm going to dilute this colour down a fraction because he's got it all over him. He's got it coming down onto his nose as well, around the top of his eye. Sort of a reddy colour. Jeez, it's bucketing down out there. Like that. Come down around this side. Okay. I'm going to make it a bit lighter and come into here, onto his nose. He does have lighter brownish red fur on his nose, mixed with a bit of white as well, but I'm just going to work it in this colour first. He's got a very definite lot of lines of colour. I might have a sip of my drink, I think. I've got my creamy soda can here. So I'll open up my creamy soda. Okay. Again, following around. It's right around the edge of his nose there. I'm just carefully looking at the directions of the fur still. Just making sure I've still got all that going in the right directions. I'm going to add this light colour coming up his nose as well. Might make it a bit stronger, a bit more opacity. There we go, come right down to the top of the nose. To the edge of his cheeky bit. There. Fill in that bit just there, that light bit, fill that in with this pink or reddy brown. It's a light, very gingery reddy brown. Come up around his eye a little bit. It's got little bits of it everywhere. And he's got much more checkered. Shrink that down a fraction. Does have highlight around the edge of his ear, but not the whole ear. You don't highlight every like hard line all the way around, otherwise it doesn't look natural. Just add little snippets of it in. And he's got fur. This fur is long in his ear. So add in the long fur. Pardon me. Goodness gracious. Okay, there we go. That. I will add lighter as well. I'm going to go again around the edge of the outside. To add a little bit of highlight he's got. Like that. All right. He's definitely got much more sort of furry softness around this outer edge. Okay, it's coming along. We're getting there. I'm going to add some grey. Go back to the dark. Actually, I might go into the blues. Go into a darker grey. Start to add a bit of dark around. This is a purpley based grey. Start to build the depth. And just go through all these patches of dark and build up. See, he's got dark coming down here onto his nose, quite a lot of it, into the middle. Again, following the direction, keeping mind of the direction of the fur. It's lots and lots of little strokes to get the fur. And it's interesting, like the one medium I could never use was coloured pencil. I could never ever get it to work. And this is like my happy place. I get the effect of coloured pencil without the stress of trying to do it with coloured pencil. I think it's still technically the same kind of techniques, but I can blend it much, much easier. It's darker along that end of that first line. I can add a few more little stripy bits in. Fur changes direction over here. It's got some darker in here. All right. Also take this grey. I'm going to see what these other brushes are like. Maybe that. Whoop, that's huge. Jesus. Don't need it that big. This is a softer sort of a fur brush. I can use it to sort of fill in a bit of a wider brush, I suppose. So instead of having one stroke at a time, I get 3 or 4 little strokes at once, like a bajaggedy paintbrush, almost. Quite like that. It's coming together. Takes a while sometimes to get. I always hit, like I've said, I say in all my videos, I always hit an ugly phase in a painting where I'm like, oh no, this is not going to work. And then it works. You just got to be patient and keep layering, keep persevering. There's lots of light grey in there as well, so light pale grey, which I will add. Being very aware of the direction all the time. Going the wrong direction can make something look very unrealistic. And short strokes because he's a short-haired cat. There we go, and we get the texture. Starting to get the fur texture over the whole cat now. I want to soften these lines around the outer edge of his little face. His fur sort of changes direction and goes a bit sideways there. Excuse my dogs. Okay. Bear and Daisy, stop. Hey, 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 stop barking, puppies. That's enough. Can't see anyone out there. All right, come down and around. And just continue on around the cat. You see I didn't finish that ear with the inner fur, but I'll do that. I will do that. Let's blend that out. Sort of not keeping my strokes in lines because that'll make it look too unnatural. You've got to sort of overlap a little bit so that your fur doesn't just look like it's just been drawn in single rows. All right. His fur comes up a little bit around his face on this side. Into an upward sort of more of a upward direction just there into the back of his face. You can see more of the side coming around. Come right round the side of the face here. Got to go in here with more chestnut colours as well. But I'm just getting the base of the fur on. Get all the fur texture in. Cats are quite hard because it really is with them. It's all shading. They really are all shading. To make them look three-dimensional, otherwise they look flat. like a flat cat. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to go back into that reddy brown. I'm going to add a bit of a stronger brown in there. And again, just go over parts, not the whole thing. Don't want to go over the whole thing, but I need to add a bit of warmth into these greys. It's got very definite warmth around here. Again, following the direction of the fur. Come around the back of his face. Around this side as well. Come around this outside edge. Bring it in a bit. Got to add it into here as well, onto his nose. Come down under his chin, under this side. Like that. A little bit darker up onto his nose. Mix it in with this fur up here. All right. I'm going to add grey, a light grey. Around, might make it a bit lighter than that. Hang on, I'm going to go back into the, get a lot lighter actually. I want it to be able to see the lines. Come around here a bit. Into his mouth, into the shapes, sides of his cheeky bits. Got to add a little bit of this lighter colour around the outer edge of the front edge of his eye. Going to add this into his ears as well, because the inside of his ears has got long fur and it is quite light. Like that. Right. Come around his eye. You see it's starting to get, the more layers you do, all the colours, you starts to get more perspective. It starts to look a bit more real. Still a long way to go, but we're definitely getting there. Just going to block in all this fur around the neck. Might go back into the yellows a bit more than the greens. I can just blend that fur in at the end, but I'm just filling it in for now. I might make that brush a bit bigger to make it a bit easier to fill in. Look how cool that brush looks. So cool. Okay, and then the fur goes sort of out and that way. Like that. So that gives it that sort of soft fur texture as well, which is nice. Make that go up a bit smaller. There we go, come right down to the bottom of the page. can get rid of the underdrawing pretty much now, I think. So I'll go to my, so I've done this on two, oh no, maybe not. There we go, underdrawing's gone. No, it's not. Oh, did I do it all in one layer? I didn't do a second layer for the colour. Oops. Okay, we'll be keeping the underdrawing then, I guess. Doesn't matter. I'll colour it out with fur. All right. So now make it a bit bigger again. And I'm going to make my brush smaller. And I'm going to go back into the lights. Add some lighter fur around the bottom of his lips. Like that. Cats, you really do see all the fur. Let's have a look. Moving down a fraction. All right, we're getting there. I'm going to go back into this brownie colour, pick that up. Then, got to add that into her chin. Come around the edge of her mouth like that. Make her a bit bigger. Okay. Let's have a look. Go darker again, go back into the darks. And start to add some darker patterns if I can see. Draw some of his whisker dots just to help. I might go back to my normal pens for that, regular. Favourites, where's favourites there? There we go. Whoop, no, maybe not that strong, geez. A bit smaller than that. There we go. Dots on. Just helps to keep things together. I'm going to go back to my other brushes, go back to my hair brushes now. Fur, hair and fur. Let's have a look. Who's that? All right. Oh, that's massive. Make it smaller. There we go. And just add some fur texture up here. Down and around. You can see it's each layer gets a little bit stronger, a little bit more defined. Just got to have faith that it will work. We will get there. And some people take months doing a picture. I'm very, very fast in comparison. I usually do 2 to 3 hours. If I'm doing a professional portrait, it might take me a day. This is just a fun sketch to show you the process. Detail would be much more intense if it was a professional kind of a thing. Come down here, add some more dark up here, really strengthen, come around this edge, Add a bit darker fur there along those inner edges at the tops of the ears. Down the edge. I'm actually going to soften up those whisker dots. Soften them up. Add a little bit of darker fur in around the edge of the eyes. So I've got to come around here. It's got a much darker stripe coming down around here. And it sort of comes into here. And then goes around the back and sort of joins into the furry bit there. Comes around here. Comes into the ear up here. I've got to draw these bits in. He's looking a bit flat over here. Does have a stripe that comes up here. All right. I think I can change this. I've got his ear comes down a bit further. That's okay. I can change that. I'll start to work on this fur down on his back now. Add a bit more. This sort of tortoise shelly dark. Hang on, make it smaller. Bring it up. Woo, that's not the one. Okay, pick it up. Now make it bigger. Oops. Pick it up, make it bigger. There we go. I'll add some lighter fur in amongst this as well. Blend it out, mix it up. Come down and darken up a lot of this. Got to add some ginger down into here as well. Bit of ginger down into here. Make my brush bigger. Got a lot more space to cover down here. Too big. It's all right. This fur sort of goes down this way. I'm going to get some of that red now, that reddy brown. Might drop the opacity a bit. It's not quite so bright. I'll add greys over the top in a minute. Down to the shoulder. Alrighty. All the way down the bottom. Like that. Okay, now I'm going to add some greys into I'm going to go into the reds though, a warmer grey, into the white, because he's got very definite shadows in his whiskery bits, his furry bits, I mean. Very definite tussock sort of shadows. He's shadowed under here. very definite sort of shadow pattern coming down here, like that. This is nearly all in shadow. It's darker under here. I'm going to add some light just around. A few stronger sort of strands in. There we go. It's got very definite brighter down this front side. Down there like that. It's got to rough up this edge, the edges. Give him furry edges. Like that. Let's have a look. I'm going to make that brush smaller. Maybe not that small. Got to draw some flecks of fur, lighter fur, around on his coat as well. I'm going to make that a fraction bigger. I always go the wrong way first because that's how I roll. Okay. I'm going to go full opacity and draw some pretty solid sort of white fur in around the edge of his lips, or her lips, as the case may be. But she's also got flecks around here. I've got to change this shape a little bit. I've got to change her ear. This ear comes down. Oh, it's magpies. It's birds outside. He's barking at the birds. Okay. I've got to change. I'm going to change this shape. I'm not 100% happy with it. So I'm just going to bring this down. Comes down a bit more like that. Like that. So to change that shape, I basically just erased a little bit. And then I'll add the green in. So I'll go into the green, colour drop it, that green, go back to my brush and just fill in around this edge. Because I forgot about the layers, as you do, but I'll just delete that out like that. I want to change that shape of his head a little. Got to make that less round, like that. That's looking a bit better. That's looking a bit better. Just that tiny little things that can make a difference. Then I'll just blend that and you won't even notice it. Just going to get my blending brush, go back to my favourites, get my blender and blend. That'll soften that back into the background again. Like that. Maybe make it a bit bigger. There we go. Just soften that back. Like that. Blend it round. You wouldn't even notice. Okay. Okay. Now I can add a little bit of fur texture back to those edges. And it's a darker colour for the fur there. So I'll go back to my furs. Essential furs. There. And it was, I can never remember, I think it was that one. Yeah, it was that one. And add the darker fur back to the back there. Like that. Now I've got to do more to this fur down here. Might get one that's got more of a more strokes and make it smaller. I don't like that. Just fill this in a little bit more with this other grey, this lighter grey. Because it's a little bit flat looking down there. So I'm just going to literally going over this red with a bit more texture. I'll add some more fur detail over the top. Down. I've got to add some more reds and browns. Blend that in. Like that. All right, and I'm going to go back into the browns. Add like a chocolatey brown. That doesn't seem to do that though, does it? Oh yeah, it does. Hang on, I'm going to go back to the other brush. Go back to that one, make it smaller. Make it bigger. There we go. Yeah, that's a chocolatey brown. That's good. That's a good brown. I'll add a little bit of that. And add that through all this fur on his back. Blend all that down in little strokes onto his back. And I've also got to take this up onto his face. And also I can bring that into his ears a little bit, come around the edge of his ears now and start to get that shape back. Around the top of this ear on the left, my left. Just darken that off. Come around that interior part of that other ear, like that. Add a bit of brown into here, onto his stripy bits. Get a bit more texture coming down and around his eye. Go into his nose, onto those whiskery dots, and just take the fur pattern across so they're not just floating on his face. Do that little bit around the bottom of his chin. Get those rough furry bits like that. He's got a very definite strong stripe coming down here that I've missed. Might go back to the almost black charcoaly colour. He's looking alright. He's looking alright. I'm going to go back to my normal brushes now. My favourites. I grab this water, make it smaller. Got to do the details around his lips a little bit because his lips have disappeared. Just do a little soft jaggedy line. Around his lips. Around there. Do a few more flecks of fur colour. Got to strengthen around his eyes as well. The black around his eyes is much stronger than I've got it. It's a bit thicker coming down here. It's not universally one sort of thickness all the way around. I'm starting to look for the little differences now. He's got a much stronger line there. Comes down on more of a thicker angle there. Having a look. His eyes are starting to pop a bit more. I'm a bit happier with them. Add some stronger darks. Again, onto his tabby bits, onto his stripes. Try to keep the patterns a little bit asymmetric. Drop the opacity. Just give little tiny dotty textures around his nose. Like that. I'm going to add a little bit of that gingery browny colour into his whiskers on his chin, into his face. Around the bottom of the lips. Down here a little bit. Okay. Sit back and have a bit of a look. We're getting there. I'm going to go back into the light. Come up here. Whoops. That is super strong. Maybe not that much. Maybe make the size a bit smaller. Like that. Let's get a bit more of a highlight. Get a few more little highlights here and there. Oops, nope, missed the line completely there. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to draw the whiskers. So we're just literally going to draw them coming out from the dots like that. They're quite long. There's quite a lot of them. He's got a few up coming from the top of his head onto above his eyes, because they'd be like feelers. There we go. And now I'm going to draw in some rough white fur. I'm going to define some white. Find some white to define. He has got very definite. That's too thick. Don't like those. Make them smaller. A little bit smaller. Like that. He's brighter down there. Got to do some more work on his nostrils. Because he's got sort of a darker pink. I'm going to go to this colour. Pick that colour up and make it darker. And then go a soft brush, which I've got. Maybe drop the opacity, make the brush a little bit bigger. Nose is looking a bit too flat. So I'm going to blend that in now. So this is where you get the little touches, little finishing touches to make him look more alive. I'm going to use that colour in his ear as well. Bring it into this ear. There's not a lot to do. I reckon I can just about call it now. Just about. I could get into so much more detail, but I don't need to. So I reckon I'm going to sign that, and I'm going to call that almost done. I just realised I can do a bit of a shadow under here. A bit under here. It needs to be a bit darker. A bit more dark through his shadow areas. Just a little to define the bottom of his face a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to sign it. I'm going to sign it, call it done. I'm going to get my dip pen and go J. Newman 25. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and I will see you for the next